Today on NewsWatch, heartbreak and outrage in Dallas. We've got new information about the shooter and profound stories of heroism from the deadly attack. Plus, the church response, what Bishop T.D. Jakes and others are doing to offer healing and hope heading forward. And no sugarcoating this report, why some so-called health foods may actually be dangerous to your health. Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Caitlin Burke. The weekend brought more protests from Louisiana to Minnesota as the Black community pushes for justice. But as Dale Hurd reports, the slayings of Dallas police officers has opened another wound that won't be quickly healed.
It was a weekend of angry protests and arrest. Racial tensions at the breaking point after Dallas Army vet Micah Johnson used his military training to shoot and kill 5 Dallas police officers at a Black Lives Matter protest over the shooting of black men in Baton Rouge in Minnesota. And the Dallas police chief says he planned an even deadlier attack, possibly using explosives. More than 160 people are believed to have been arrested during the weekend protest in Baton Rouge alone. At least 30 of those arrests Sunday night, as a few hundred people tried to block roads. There have been demonstrations throughout the country. Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson called for dialogue.
There's a lot of anxiety in this country right now, but at a moment like this, we need to take the opportunity to come together, develop community relations across the country.
Speaking to the Spanish media Sunday, President Obama commented on some of the rhetoric at Black Lives Matter demonstrations.
In a movement like Black Lives Matter, there's always going to be some folks who say things that are stupid or imprudent or overgeneralize or are harsh. And I don't think that you can hold well-meaning activists who are doing the right thing and peacefully protesting responsible for everything that is uttered at a protest.
And on social media, some are pushing the theme that President Obama has justified the violence against police, although the president has also offered his support for officers as well. This Dallas mother, a hero for shielding her son from the hail of bullets and getting hit in the leg, was thanking police for protecting her family.
So thankful. I had never seen anything like that. The way they just came around us and just guarded us like that.
Dale Hurd, CBN News.
President Obama is traveling to Texas tomorrow to pay tribute to the police officers killed by a sniper Thursday. He'll be joined by President George W. Bush at an Interfaith memorial service in Dallas. The service follows a weekend filled with honors for those who lost their lives, comfort for those who survived, and candid conversation about what lies ahead. Ephraim Graham is in Dallas following this story.
The memorial here outside the Dallas Police Precinct grows with each passing day. More flowers, more notes, more teddy bears, and more people traveling from far and near to see officers, say thank you, and send up a prayer.
Peace. Just peace.
You would have thought we'd be doing this for the year 2016.
That's all I want is peace.
The city saw chaos Thursday, following a rally and peaceful protest.
And it was while we were dispersing that the gunfire began.
Pastor Michael Waters was at the protest calling for an end to police brutality after the deaths of Alton Sterling in Louisiana and Philando Castile in Minnesota.
It was white people, it was Latino people, it was Asian people, it was young people. There were children in that crowd. But everyone there in that non-violent, peaceful rally and march were there because they love life and they want to preserve it. And it has broken all of our hearts that life was taken that night.
Police say gunman Micah Johnson claimed he was angry about the deaths the protesters were marching against. That's why he took aim at white officers, killing 5 and injuring 7.
You would still hear the gunfire, and it was a shock because you went from total peace and tranquility to total chaos at a moment.
The sniper attack on 12 Dallas police officers reminded many of another dark day in the city's history, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy here in Dealey Plaza in 1963, just blocks from where the gunman took aim at the officers, delivering the painful blow to the city and to the country.
I will remain confident.
The pain gave way to praise here at the Potter's House Church.
Many of you recognize, in fact, all of you must recognize that we've had a very challenging week in our city, been tested to our very core, shaken to our very foundation.
Where Bishop T.D. Jakes canceled his regular Sunday sermon and hosted a town hall. At the table, the city's mayor.
You don't demonize people. You say, hey, I think you got it wrong here. Okay? But God loves you, and I'm going to lift you up. Okay?
An officer who watched a colleague die in the tragedy, shot in the face.
Sometimes you dream that this person's sitting next to your bed or standing next to your bed asking you why. And those are the hard times.
A protester who was for a time falsely accused of being the shooter.
It was first a moment of disbelief. I thought they were joking until they started sending me the images to the phone.
And the family of the man shot and killed in Louisiana last week.
But when I saw the second tape, he suffered.
Sandra Sterling recalled her final moments with Alton, visiting the graves of family members just 2 days before he died.
And we went to his brother's grave. His brother, his mother, my father, and his dad. And we visited each one of those graves. And that's the last time I saw him and heard from him.
That pain, the city's pain, and the country's pain is why Bishop Jakes called for the day's conversation.
Injustices, police killings, domestic violence, black on black crime. Oh, we got a lot of stuff to pray about. But we're gonna make it.
And there are hopeful signs just outside police headquarters. Ephraim Graham, CBN News, Dallas, Texas.
Joining us now from Washington is Bishop Harry Jackson from the Reconciled Church Movement. Now, we just saw Bishop T.D. Jakes hold the town hall yesterday in Dallas to work toward healing. What more needs to be done right now to help that city?
Well, I think what we really have to do as the church is to begin to pray. We've set as a goal, Bishop Jakes is one of the key conveners of the Reconciled Church Movement, along with myself, James Robinson, Sammy Rodriguez, A.R. Bernard, Miles McPherson, and many others. It's interesting that we can fast and pray. We're calling for something called Reconciliation Wednesdays, in which we're asking the church to use the two ancient weapons of the church, and that is fasting and prayer. And I believe that we can stop some of the confusion that is swirling around in the nation that way. And then secondarily, there are some specific initiatives that we began about 18 months ago that can be very helpful. So we encourage people to reach out at our website at thereconciledchurch.org, and that's all one word, and sign up. We're looking to get 35 to 40,000 churches signing up saying that we're going to have some kind of fasting and prayer initiative. That's a tithe of all the churches in America. So we want to start with the spiritual, but there is much that needs to be done in terms of a sense of justice in our communities, and there are a lot of opportunities for us to blame shift and to point fingers at one another, but now only the church can bring America together.
You mentioned the injustice in the communities. Kind of a question on that. Is there that incurrent of injustice in American culture as a whole, or are these simply isolated incidents of poor judgment and personal abuses?
I think it's a combination. Statistically, we are finding that over the last several years, the number of people blacks specifically, who have died in police custody has gone down. But the reality is that in the era of cell phones and also of little cameras on those cell phones, we have an insight into the underbelly of the culture more than ever before. And the two cases this week that we saw in Minneapolis and Baton Rouge show us that there are some problems. Those deaths were probably unnecessary. Prima facie looks that way. And it seemed to be a misuse of authority and power. And then also the response of terrorism is something I've been concerned about. I can speak for Bishop Jakes and also James Robinson, that they've been concerned about for the last 18 months or so, right after the problems in Ferguson. So this is something that's very complicated, and simply trying to make this group or that group kind of to blame is a problem. Conservatives, and I'm a biblically based evangelical conservative, conservatives need to watch out that they don't minimize the loss of black lives. This has happened over many years. I can tell you a story if you'd like. Do we have just a moment for me to tell you a personal story? And that is of my father when I was 1 year old, was threatened at gunpoint in Florida by a state trooper. The trooper discharged his weapon right over my dad's head, temporarily deafening him because he was involved in voter registration. State trooper who should be representing the state of Florida actually represented racism. This kind of murky history is woven into the warp and woof of many cities in America, and that's one dimension of things that's going on. Then we've got the overcriminalization of the black community and Hispanic communities. So we've got a class problem, a race problem, and a generational poverty problem, and it looks like, bam, right now, everything is exploding and coming to the surface, and it must be dealt with.
Definitely. Bishop Harry Jackson, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
In other news, the University of New Mexico has been caught partnering with abortionists. Live Action News reports bodily organs were given to the university through Southwestern Women's Options, an abortion facility. A congressional panel on infant lives sent a criminal referral to the Attorney General from New Mexico in June. The exchange is considered a violation of federal rules, according to Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn. She says laboratory notes produced to the panel revealed that a university employee has collected aborted infant tissue collected from SWWO an average of 39 times a year. Blackburn has requested that New Mexico Attorney General Hector Balderas investigate the findings. Turning overseas, North Korea is making threats over U.S. plans to station a missile defense system in South Korea. North Korean state media aired a statement saying it will take powerful measures over the plans, including ending a UN communication channel with the U.S. It also hinted at harsher treatment of Americans still imprisoned inside the country. North Korea interprets any U.S. sanctions against Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un for alleged human rights abuses as an act of war. The media arm of al-Qaeda has released a video that appears to show the son of Osama bin Laden threatening revenge against the U.S. for assassinating his father. In the video released by Ash-Shabaab, Hamza bin Laden tells Americans that they're accountable for the decisions of their leaders. He says al-Qaeda will continue waging jihad or holy war against the U.S. in response to its oppression of Muslims. Coming up, miracles from heaven. Hear Jennifer Garner's message of hope as this true story comes to DVD. A new Israeli archaeological discovery may help solve the mystery of the biblical Philistines. A team of archaeologists unearthed the bones of more than 200 ancient Philistines in the biblical city of Ashkelon Sunday. Experts say this is the first Philistine cemetery ever recovered. The discovery marks the end of a 30-year excavation and the beginning of new research. The team is now performing DNA tests on the bone samples to resolve the ongoing debate over the Philistines' geographical origins. In today's family entertainment news, if you're looking for a way to beat the summer heat, you can just stay indoors and enjoy a powerful miracle story. The movie Miracles from Heaven comes out on DVD today, and it's based on the real-life journey of Annabelle Beam and her healing from an incurable, deadly digestive disorder. The film stars Jennifer Garner, who plays the role of Anna's mother, Christy Beam. She told me that she hopes people get out and see this film.
I want people to come away feeling hopeful, and I want people to come away and feel like they are surrounded by miracles and they are surrounded by love. And sometimes you may have to dig them out. It's worth digging them out. It's worth taking the time to look around you and really find the joy that already exists in your life.
The Beam family watched Anna suffer through years of pain, hospital visits, surgeries, and invasive testing. She's eventually sent home to die, but a freak accident triggered a healing miracle. Coming up, secret sugar hidden in your food. Hear the ties between sugar and cancer and what you need to be on the lookout for. Skim milk, balsamic vinegar, you would think those would be healthy, but a growing number of so-called health foods actually contain a great deal of sugar. As Lori Johnson tells us, it's hidden in places you'd never suspect.
Americans devour a shocking amount of sugar. Many of us consume a cup of sugar a day. That's double what Americans ate 100 years ago. All that sugar can be deadly. Dallas oncologist Gerald Edelman, author of Sugar Rehab, says that's because sugar stimulates cancer cells and causes weight gain.
We know that folks that are overweight have a higher risk of recurrence of cancer and also developing many of the major cancers. So obesity is actually now known to be a direct cause of cancer.
John Speenberg had Hodgkin's lymphoma, cancer of the blood. After following Dr. Edelman's advice to slash the sugar, he lost weight and has been cancer-free for 9 years.
I love yogurt, but when you start realizing there's 9 grams of sugar in a cup of yogurt, I started cutting out my yogurt.
And it's not just cancer. Sugar leads to many other health problems, from heart disease and high blood pressure to the common cold.
High blood sugar is an immunosuppressant effect. It suppresses your immune system. So you're more vulnerable to infections such as the flu. You're more vulnerable to inflammatory diseases such as arthritis.
Sugar's highly addictive. Brain imaging shows reward centers light up the same way when a person takes cocaine as when they consume sugar. And it's tough to get off that roller coaster.
Because you're going through spikes and valleys of blood sugar levels. And when you're at a valley, what's your body want? It wants more sugar. Your body loses its natural equilibrium of, intelligently telling you when it's hungry and intelligently telling you when it's full.
If you want to cut back on sugar, here's a tip. It's often hidden in foods that seem healthy, like this instant oatmeal. It has 12 grams of sugar, compared to old-fashioned oats, which have just 1. Nutritionist J.J. Virgin says hidden sugars are why so many people have trouble losing weight.
What I think is most upsetting is all of these people trying so hard to eat healthy, yet being duped by misinformation, because then they just go, wow, this isn't working, I'm just going to give up.
In her book, she warns about going after low-fat foods.
When we started to pull the fat out of products, we either add or are left with sugar. If you look at a lot of the dairy products, especially like cream cheeses, we'll go to the light cream cheese and they actually added sugar in.
Many fat-free salad dressings are 1/3 sugar. And don't be fooled by healthy-sounding words like fruit or juice. They're often just the super sweet fructose left over after healthy fiber and nutrients have been removed. Dried fruits can contain as much sugar as candy.
And there's easy ways to say no sugar added and still put it in there. Apple juice concentrate's the worst thing you could possibly have. Apple juice concentrate's got more fructose than high fructose corn syrup does.
Refined carbohydrates are deceptive because while not tasting sweet, they turn into sugar after you eat them because the grains have been stripped of the good stuff, leaving only the starch. Even whole grains and foods labeled all natural often contain lots of added sugar. The same goes for muffins, bars, and popular protein shakes. This one has 44 grams per serving. You should aim for less than 2. JJ divides foods into high, medium, and low sugar impact. For example, white potato is high, sweet potato is medium, pumpkin is low. White rice is high, brown rice is medium, wild rice is low.
A marinara sauce with sugar added is high sugar impact. A regular marinara sauce, medium sugar impact. Crushed tomatoes, basil, olive oil would be low sugar impact.
And what about fake sugar?
One of the worst things that's ever happened to us are artificial sweeteners. This is a science experiment that has not worked.
Researchers found people who use them tend to gain more weight.
But there's also a phenomenon that happens called calorie dysregulation that they saw with artificial sweeteners. When you eat something that's got a sweet taste with no calories, your body can't calibrate the degree of sweetness with how many calories, so it causes you to tend to overeat.
They can also cause headaches and digestive problems.
You have to limit some of these sugar-free products because they have sugar alcohols in them, and sugar alcohols can act as laxatives.
The best advice is to be aware and just say no to sugar in obvious places as well as the hidden ones. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Operation Blessing has been helping victims of the historic and disastrous flood in Charleston, West Virginia. At least 25 people died and many homes were destroyed. But Operation Blessing delivered semi-trucks full of food and relief supplies, and volunteers helped people clean their damaged homes over the 4th of July weekend. You can find out more about Operation Blessing at ob.org. That's it for now on CBN NewsWatch. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care about most at cbnnews.com. We hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day.